this is Soiba, the Honorable African Woman Kenya Election Series, and we are excited to be having Faith Kasina, who we know as a political activist who has transitioned to be
A politician.
a politician.
Yeah.
And we will be very excited to hear what her journey has been, but also what her motivation is. But for now, Faith, if you could introduce yourself.
I'm Faith Kasina, a human rights defender, a community organizer, and an independent candidate, MCA, Matopeni Spring Valley Wards.
We are so happy to have you, especially
Thank
because I
you.
think we will learn very much about what are the experiences of young women, especially around elections, both as voters, but
Yeah.
also as people who are running for office. So, Faith, for the first question, I think I would want to ask, what is your transition? I mean, we know you. Even how I know you
Yeah.
is being a political activist and a woman human rights defender. So, what's the motivation to transition to a woman running for office?
Uh,
A young woman running for office.
I think I never really envisioned this 2 years ago. If you'd asked me whether I would be running, I would say, no, no, that's not my thing. But then after the work that we've been doing, organizing the community through the Community Justice Center and all that, young people just came and told me, you know what, we think you're the right person for this seat. We need
Hmm.
someone who understands our issues. We need someone who is in touch with the community. We need someone who has passion to serve the community. So I went thought about it. And last year, around April, I decided, why not? And
Yeah.
that's where it all began.
Oh,
Yeah.
good for you. And you've
Yes.
made. I mean, you've made waves with your running, especially one
Yes.
because you're running as an
Independent
independent. And we'll
candidates.
come to that question. But I think for me, then I'm interested to know because I mean, what are your challenges as a young woman human rights defender compared to those challenges? Are they the same? The challenges that you might be passing through as a woman running for office, a young woman running. Mm-hmm.
I think they're not really far apart. But yes, this one is totally different. You're going for power, and most people do not want you in power, especially as an activist. That's where also the challenges come from. Because I've been an activist, I've been dealing with these issues in the community, and they would, especially the cartels, how we even met my mother and told her, we will not allow your daughter to actually get this seat.
Oh, really?
Especially the water cartels, because we've been doing a campaign on water and doing a research on water and all that. So some people would really really not want me near the seats, but also the challenges are totally also different because now people see you as a politician, not an
Mm,
activist.
mm.
There are others who think that, even because again, right now I'm into politics, but I do not know how to differentiate my work as a human rights defender and activism,
The
because
person is
I'm still,
political.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm still an activist. I see myself in demonstrations. I'm called to document cases and refer these cases.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do that, others say, now politicize it. She's doing
Mm.
this because she wants a seat.
I see it.
But
Yeah.
I'm doing it so innocently and out of goodwill, because that's what I want. I would really, really, I'm passionate about it, and I want everyone to live a dignified life. So that is also very different, because again, sometimes when people see me there, they think I'm not here to help. I'm here as a politician.
Would you say, since we have three women who are running for the second
Yeah.
biggest office, like senior office in Kenya,
Mhm.
and one of them, of course, is known to be a woman human rights defender,
Yeah.
how has that affected you? And is there a future? How has it affected you as a person in terms of you share the same intersections, yeah, but also how has that affected the uptick of young women leadership in the communities?
Mother is single. She's known as a single woman, single mother. And I'm here as a single woman and an activist.
Mm,
So there's this, I had someone say, hawa mama single wamekuja sana.
meaning, I
These
mean,
single
yeah,
women think
uh-huh.
they can rule people. That's why they have refused to be ruled by men in their houses and to marry. Yes.
Ah,
So there's also that aspect. It's especially when, because mother is this fierce woman. I
mm,
I
mm,
I don't know,
mm,
because
mm.
she's an activist, so people think she's fierce and all that. People do not see the human side of her. Like she's a human being
So
apart
are you
from
feeling the
everything.
resistance, or is there better uptick of
I feel the
women's leadership?
resistance,
Okay.
because also when people look at us, they see the fierce women as
Mm.
human rights defenders. Every other human rights defender is seen as a fierce person, not as a human being. Apart from you being everything, you're human. Apart from you,
Yeah.
people think you fierce, so you can take in everything. You can take in all the stones they throw at you. But mother is just human. I'm just human, with also ambitions and dreams to change this community, apart from us being activists and apart from us being as not married single mother. I actually don't understand where that comes from. I'm a single mother. So what? Am I supposed to walk with my husband to the county assembly holding their hand?
I think it's meant to take away from a woman because of society and patriarchal norms,
But
right?
like whoever buys that bullshit is also it's also backward.
Yeah,
I need
retrogressive social
yes,
norms. Very.
I think they are, and we need to call them out as they are. There's this time I went to a meeting and I stood to spoke, and the first person asked me, "Are you married?" And I was like, "Wait, so will I walk with my husband to the county assembly?" And they were like, you see why we don't want single women?
So,
They want to rule over men. But really,
I mean, they poke you, and then when you answer,
respond. Now they want to say you're rude because again, I'm supposed to be very sweet and say, "Oh, I am not married, but I'm looking
it's
for a
supposed to be
husband."
docile.
No, I am not.
Okay.
I'm
Even as
not
a leader, you're
married.
expected to be of a certain degree of
Yes,
docility.
yeah,
Yeah,
very sweet to people. But sometimes you have to deal with people just as they are.
this is
You
true.
are retrogressive, you're backward, and I'm gonna deal with you just the way you are.
So, would you say what has been your experience in terms of your personal experience in navigating those spaces, but also seeking votes among, like, has it been different for different groups, like among men, among
Yeah, I
women?
think it's really funny. I've had when I'm actually talking to young people, they embrace me very well,
Mm, mm.
and they're okay. They don't care whether I am married. They don't care what age I am. They want to listen to my agenda. But it's worse when you're talking to the older generation.
Both men and women.
Yes,
Okay.
but even rough when you're talking to the the older. I found it worse when talking to older women, like those old what show.
Mm.
I am independent, and some expect you to be part of a party. To them, they want a party. And this propaganda that independents are here to spoil the votes.
Yeah.
So, some when I go to talk to them, they're like, you're independent. No, I will not vote someone who is here to spoil the votes for UDA or either Azimio, whichever party they are in. So, I think it's worse with people who have issues with access to information, because
Uh-huh.
to them they only access the information that is given to them,
Mm.
secondhand information,
Mm.
and maybe the propaganda that is flying
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
So they easily understand, they easily hold on to that because that's the only information they
Misinformation.
can get.
Yeah.
Misinformation and disinformation.
Yeah.
But it's easier also talking to the young people. To the older men, it's not even about the parties or wherever. It's about my marriage. It's about me not having money to give them. It's about me not being either a Muslim
Or
or a Christian. When you go to those spaces, there's a way they expect Christians to dress. There's a way they expect Muslims to dress.
ah.
But Kayole is,
Yeah.
Kayole is very tricky. I go with my trousers on. I will not wear a dress because
So
uncertainties.
yeah.
So there's
So the
how they
older people still have hold to
yes,
very patriarchal
yes,
social
there's
norms.
how they expect a woman to come dressed. And if you're not dressed like that, they not listen to you. There's how they expect you to talk to them. Some even, like, I don't know. I wish I wish you could understand what I'm trying to. I don't know how to bring it out, but there's how they expect you to talk to them.
To
They
be
expect
packaged.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
There's how they expect you to package yourself, but then we are another generation, totally different from them.
Yeah.
So when you go to talk to them, then if you're not packaged like that, they expect you to go with an older woman or an older man to introduce you to them. They don't
Mm.
expect you to go introducing yourself to everyone. They want you to go. I meet this woman. She's Faith Kasina. She's vying for this and this, and then now you can be given permission to talk.
Yeah.
So it's tough, but I think
There's
I've
a lot of gatekeeping.
yes,
Yeah.
I've found it easy with young people, you know.
So when you say, one question is, most of, because of how political parties are structured in Kenya,
Yeah,
then if you're a young woman or a youth, sometimes you end up running as, an independent candidate.
yeah,
One, in terms of fundraising, but also, safety of a person.
yeah.
Would you let us in into what your experience has been in both?
I think for me it's easier being that I've worked in the community and I'm running in a community where
That you're
I've
known.
grown up
Yeah.
there. You know, like even if people would want to attack me, they're like, do not attack that one. You know. Also,
Mm,
I think from the networks I have, they've seen in the organization that I work with, we work with Amnesty, we work with UN, we work with this big organization. So they're like, if you touch her, she's all these people will come
you'll
after
be on the
you.
spotlight. Yeah.
So I am like kind of protected, but at the same time, I'm, I'm aware of the things
The
that other
challenges that other people.
challenges that other women are facing. There's
Yeah.
a woman we were running with, she was beaten and she had to drop
Oh
from
wow.
yeah from the
Physical
race.
violence.
Yes,
Yeah.
she went to and she was buying with an UDA ticket before nomination, and so she went to an ODM zone to actually sell her manifesto
Manifesto.
and everything, and she was beaten. You know,
Gosh.
like they bet and told her, we don't want UDA here.
Oh wow.
So and she actually stopped. You know,
I
she
mean,
just she
your personal
called
safety
me
is
very
compromised.
frustrated and told me I cannot do this. I cannot risk my family because of this. So she dropped. But I've not faced any yes, I was attacked during my rally, but I was protected. Like I'm telling you,
Because you have
yes, I've like grown in that
in the,
community.
yeah.
So someone was sent to come and disrupt my party and attack me. So they came looking for me, but then I was dressed differently, and I think my posters show this bigger person, and I'm
Yeah.
shorter. So
Yeah.
when you look at me, when you come to the crowd, you're looking for me, but then you can't find me because you're expecting
But I think
someone
it's
who is
also
bigger.
in our social norms, because when you hear a woman is running for any position, you
Yeah.
expect them to be of a bigger stature.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think
Yes.
it's also that.
So he came looking for this bigger woman, but then when people asked him, "Why are you looking for Faith? Why are you looking for her? Who are you?" I was like, "No, I want her. She needs to come
Mm.
and tell me why she's vying as an independent candidate.
Oh gosh.
She's a Kamba and she's destroying Azimio votes." And I'm
Oh
like,
wow. So
and
it's
I'm like,
also tribal, ethno,
yes, yeah,
religious
yes. I,
divides.
and that has actually given me a lot of hard time because Kambas expect me to buy with an Azimio ticket to go the Azimio side, and I'm like, no,
So, this
it's
thing of zoning and spoiling votes.
yes,
Yeah.
but especially with the zoning that happened, I would have been zoned out. That's the truth. I'm a young woman with no money, to buy
Mm.
the ticket with no resources at all.
Mm.
So, and that's what happened to most of the women. They were zoned out, and young people, they were actually left
I know
out
a
in the
few.
whole
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
because they do not have the money
Mm.
to actually buy tickets from these political
The
parties.
networks.
So
Yeah.
looking at me, I was like, no, I will go independent. I know it's a lot of work, especially with the clearance from IBC and all that. But
Mm.
let me go through that because it would be very hard for me to buy a ticket from a political party
Mm.
because
Mm.
political parties during the nominations only understand money and numbers.
That's true. That's
Yes,
true.
it's money and numbers. And as a young person, you'll be left out.
Yeah,
And
especially on
you'll
the
be
money
left to be a
parts.
blogger because
Yeah.
now they want to, you also want to maintain your loyalty to the party. When you're left out, you just remain a blogger for the party, and a mobilizer. And I
Yeah. That
didn't want that. I didn't
no.
want to be
And a lot
used.
of young people actually just are relegated to that, those
Yes.
positions. And it looks like that's how we participate in democracy, which is being undercut in many other.
Yes, and
Yeah.
then you given the nomination slots. Now they are going to nominate a few women whom they zoned out, whom they actually left out in this democratic process
Process.
because they
Yeah.
should have just allowed people to contest, and let people choose. But
Yeah.
they left out the women and the young
And young
men
people.
and
Yeah.
gave them and young people and gave them slots as
And even
for
I don't think even
nominations.
even nominations. I mean, there are not enough slots to nominate all the people who were left
Yeah.
out. But again, um, democratic processes sometimes are very complex. Now, My question to you then is, as a young woman who understands, I mean, especially because you come from, the political activists sector, so you understand the issues of your people,
Yeah.
right? And especially with the bias of young things that are usually left out, like SMEs, but gendered budgeting and all those things. What is your vision for the people of Matopeni?
I think for me, it's a leadership that they have a voice,
Mm, mm,
like from the whole process, because we've seen a space where where the leaders now bring their visions and whatever it is they want to do to the people, and they expect the people now to embrace them. For me, it's a space where the people can now speak and agree on what they want done,
mm.
from the budget processing and
Self-determined.
actually showing them the power in public participation, because
Yes.
that's where, as MCA, that's where the power belongs to with the people,
Yeah.
public participation,
Mm,
which most young people are left out, and it's especially most people in the community are left out, do not know where their power lies, and also just there's this thing that keeps hurting me every other time, and I think it strips the women of their dignity, because mostly it's the women who go to seek for bursaries for their children.
yes.
We've seen women queue
Q.
the whole
Yeah.
night. No, it's to us. It happens in Kayole. People queue from 7 p.m.,
Oh
while the
God.
bursaries will be given tomorrow 8 a.m.
Oh God.
Women sleep outside. They can be raped. They can be attacked, and some even miss these bursaries. That is one of the things I want to do away with. I feel it strips one of their dignity,
Mm, mm.
and it makes one beg for
Yeah.
what's rightfully theirs.
Yeah. I mean, it also takes away your agency. I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. For
But
things that should, I mean, if we look at it, education was supposed to be free,
yeah, yes, yes.
and so well, if people have to queue for 24 hours for bursary, and usually the amount is negligible to cover.
No, it's actually the amount is 5,000. But then also these leaders give these bursaries, most of these bursaries to their people, who come and sell these bursaries to the needy at
That's where it's
3,000
broken. Oh,
shillings.
I
So you
see.
only get 2,000 shillings from that bursary.
Oh God, I didn't even know that.
That's a lot of corrupt. That is where the nyumba kumi get their money.
That is an interesting sad fact.
Yes.
Which brings us to the point. I mean, listening to you, after your last comment, I feel very, very, very disturbed. But where do you see one, Kenya, after elections, and where do you see yourself in terms of leadership?
I think Kenya is still the same
Mhm.
until young people, because you're the majority, realize our power.
Mm,
Because where do I see Kenya in the next 5 years? Where was it last the previous
previous
years?
elections, yeah.
We've seen young people being used the same way they're being used right now, being lied to the same way they're being lied to right now. Will we hold our leaders accountable? That is the only thing that will change Kenya, if we hold our leaders accountable. If we keep quiet, then
What do you say? Because you know what, a lot of people, young people who are and ABC, flag this. In all their forums, young people do not register as voters,
yeah.
right? So, and when you ask young people, it's because they're jaded. What needs to be done? I mean, I know most of it is
My dear,
self-determination.
no, my dear, we keep saying it's a voter apathy. Let's. I think we are finding a sexy word for this, but it's ignorance. It's just pure ignorance.
Yeah.
If young people in this country do not understand the power they have by voting, then
Would you say there's sufficient voter education?
we don't do voter education. Wait until 5 years. Then we come and say young people are not registering. Go out and lobby and tell them to go and register as voters. But do they know why they're registering as voters?
Yeah, it's also that democratic processes are only reduced to elections, and democratic processes are,
Exactly.
are
Exactly. But it's a continuous process for the
yes,
next 5 years.
yeah.
So if you're going to actually educate young people to realize their power, I would say Kenya will be very developed in the next 5 years, because there will be no corruption. We'll not allow leaders who are corrupt to lead us, because we'll
Mm,
know the
mm.
power of, we'll know how to remove them. But if you're going to sit and wait for the 5 years term to end, and then we come and cry
And talk about elections and democratic
and
processes.
say how
Yeah.
we're not going to vote in those leaders. But look at, have you seen the funny thing? We're still electing the thieves, the people with scandals. they'll be elected back
Into
into
power.
power. So
Yeah.
what are we doing? That's why it's when you ask me about where do I see Kenya in the next 5 years, I'm like, no, until we realize our power, Kenya is not going to change. It's going to be ruled by the same thieves. It's going to be ruled by people who use young people, and young people will be left to only find solace in drugs and crime. You know,
Mm,
but
mm.
until as young people realize the power we have in holding our leaders accountable, especially those who are promising us jobs when we have no jobs, those who
Yeah.
are promising us better lives, especially on Article 43 of the Kenyan Constitution,
Education.
education, healthcare, wherever,
Yes.
we need to hold them
Socioeconomic
accountable. Because
political
the
rights. Yeah.
problem with us as a people is that we cannot afford basic needs. And what these leaders have made is that they have stripped us of our dignity. We can't even focus on holding them accountable because we are too deprived of basic needs
Basic
that we
needs.
cannot even think. So
It's also that
until
when you survive, or you take in whether it's a
yes,
bribe, you take in what you can.
and that's why they come and give us 200 shillings and you want to like worship them and be like, oh God, thank you so much. You're thanking someone for stealing your money and giving you 200 shillings.
It's a it's a I
You
don't know
know,
what to call it. Yeah.
so where do I see Kenya in the next 5 years? If young people wake up, Kenya will be very developed. If they don't, we will have a generation that is lost totally because they
Mm.
don't have hope. They, if you look at most young people, they have no hope, Nyambura. I go to these meetings with young people and I feel so sad that they keep asking me tutaomoka lini hata tujenge life, tuanzishe life na watoi wetu,
Yeah.
like they have no hope and they cannot start families because they don't think how they're going to survive tomorrow. So until especially these leaders who keep saying the family unit and all that family units, well, now young people cannot even cannot
Start
even marry,
families.
you know
Yeah. Yeah.
they can't even start families because they can't
But also,
survive
yeah, and I'll tell you,
they
family
can't
unit.
raise their families. They
Yeah,
can't even raise themselves, like we are being raised by our parents right now. We cannot even
because the
raise.
cost of living has gone
Yes,
so high that
yes.
living on
So
yourself.
where
Yeah,
do I see myself in the next 5 years? The same things I'm doing, I'm not gonna change. I'm still gonna be doing whatever it is I'm doing. Human rights is defending is my passion. Is I think it's everything I do every day. I wake up. If anything, I want to see everyone living a dignified life. Everyone being able to access justice. Justice not being for the few, for the rich. I want um, I want equity more than anything. Those from the ghetto who do not have,
mm.
can they be able to live a dignified life? Can they be able to access education, healthcare, water and sanitation? We fight every day in Kayole because of water, because we
Which
cannot
is a
access
basic need.
water, which is a
Ba-
basic need. So
basic need.
what I expect, what I'm going to do, where I will be in the next 5 years, still doing this, still defending the people until everyone is free. That's then I can rest.
You know what? I want you to come back here and let us talk about the criminalization of poverty or low income
Yes.
areas,
Yeah.
because I think that's you touched on it a bit. But I feel it's an issue we need to unpack really on a whole episode.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank
I
you
would
so
love
much.
that.
Yeah. Thank you
Yes.
so much for
I don't know whether
finding time.
I answered all your
I
questions
think you
though.
did. I
Okay.
think I think you did. Unless you have one more last thing to say.
No, I think I don't have anything to
Okay.
say. My last call will be to the young people. These 5 years, we'll choose to suffer, to be used, or just to voice our voice. So that's up to you. If you want to fight for this country, to be patriotic, being patriotic is not being loyal to your leaders, it's being loyal to this country. Being loyal to this country means defending it, defending the constitution, defending your land. I think that is my call to the young people. Can we wake up? Can we defend our motherland? Can we force these leaders to implement? Can we demand that they implement our constitution? It's a very good book. It has very good laws that actually protect us. So if you want to live a dignified life, let's do this. But if you want to suffer for the next 5 years, please do so. I'm not gonna. It's okay, but they have the power. Nyambura, like it.
Agency is many things, and sometimes they can
Yes,
be the agency to suffer.
yes. If you want to suffer, then by all means, please suffer. But if you want to fight for your life, then please do it and defend it by all means. You're not doing it for yourself, by the way. You're doing it for the future generations. They will ask you what you did, and if you have, I hope you give them an answer of something that you did and show them that I did this. At least I tried. So please just try to make Kenya better in the next 5 years and hold these leaders accountable.
That is a very good point. Hold them accountable no matter
Yeah.
what happens, because
Yes.
they wrote manifestos, and we need to
Yes.
see whether they're going to implement
And
that.
lastly,
Uh-huh.
your tribesman is not going to provide unga in your house.
This is true.
Yes.
Never have they.
So this war about mtu wetu, the ufala ya mtu wetu, sijui nini nini nini, hakupei unga. Ati huyu ni mama mwenzangu, mi hanipei unga. Let's hold them accountable. For me, it's the competency, and your capability as a leader. So let's always begin from there. Your capability, your values, and your competency as a leader. That's the only thing we need to look at when you're looking at our leaders. If they don't serve you right, if you look at the three and you're like, no, they're not competent, they're not capable, they do not hold the right values, please do away with them. They don't deserve your money because that's your money they're getting paid.
We always forget.
Yeah.
Faith Kasina, thank you so much for coming to Swaiba Podcast. We are so happy to have you. All the best.
Thank you.
We shall be following you up to see how the elections came out. All the best.
Asante sana, Nyambura. And thank you for having me.
We will have you again for sure. This is Swaiba, the Audible African Woman 2022 Kenya Elections. Thank you for listening in. Please leave your comments, share, and subscribe. And looking forward to speaking to you on the next episode. Asante.